Close your eyes now and feel the quiet presence that has always been with you. A gentle, guiding light that watches over you like the soft glow of dawn through a curtain. This presence is not distant or cold. It is warm, familiar, and infinitely patient, like the steady hum of a lullaby sung just for you. Imagine now that you are stepping into a garden unlike any other. A garden where the flowers do not bloom with petals, but with filaments of light, each one shimmering in hues you have never seen before. Some cool and silvery, like moonlight on water. Others warm and golden like embers in a quiet hearth. These filaments sway gently, as if moved by a breeze you cannot feel, but only sense in the way they dance just for you. The soil beneath your feet is not earth, but a fine, shifting sand made of crushed gemstones. Each grain hums with a quiet, enzymatic warmth, like the faintest vibration of a tuning fork held just out of reach. This sand does not scratch or sting. It cradles your feet like a mother's touch, grounding you in a way that feels both ancient and new. The air here is thick with the taste of pure time. Not sweet, not bitter, but the clean, neutral weight of a moment that has no beginning or end. It is the taste of a breath held just long enough to forget the need to exhale. The taste of a pause so perfect it becomes its own kind of eternity. And in this air, you are weightless, not floating, but simply existing without effort. As you walk deeper into this garden, the filaments of light begin to respond to your presence. They lean toward you, not in hunger or demand, but in quiet recognition, as if they have been waiting for you all along. Some of them brush against your skin, leaving trails of warmth like sunlight on closed eyelids. Others drift just out of reach, their glow pulsing softly, as if whispering secrets you already know. You notice now that the garden is not empty. There are others here, not people, not shapes, but presences, gentle, benevolent energies that move like currents in water. They do not speak, but you feel their attention, like the gaze of a trusted friend who knows you better than you know yourself. One of these presences lingers near your shoulder. Its warmth is steady, like the heat of a small sun held in the palm of your hand. This presence does not judge or hurry you. It simply is. And in its being, it reminds you that you, too, simply are. There is no need to strive or prove. No need to rush or resist. Here in this garden, time does not measure you. It cradles you. And the filaments of light, the gemstone sand, the taste of pure time, they all exist to remind you of one truth. You are safe. You are held. And you are exactly where you need to be. The garden knows this. The presences know this. And now, as you breathe in the taste of pure time, you begin to know it too. Listen now to the quiet hum beneath everything. It is not a sound you hear with your ears, but a vibration you feel in the center of your chest. A frequency that has always been there, waiting for you to notice. This frequency is 432 hertz, a sound so ancient and so pure it feels like coming home. It does not demand your attention. It simply exists, like the steady beat of a heart that has always been yours. As this frequency moves through you, it begins to dissolve the edges of everything you thought you knew. The boundaries between you and the garden, between you and the presences, between you and the filaments of light, they all begin to blur, not in confusion, but in unity. You are not separate from this place. You are a part of it, and it is a part of you. The gemstone sand beneath your feet begins to rise, not in a swirl or a storm, but in a slow, gentle ascent, like mist lifting from a lake at dawn. It moves upward, wrapping around your ankles, then your calves, then your knees, each grain humming softly as it touches your skin. Not cold, not sharp, but warm and alive, like the touch of 1,000 tiny hands, all guiding you deeper into this moment. As the sand rises, the filaments of light begin to shift. Their colors deepen. Their glow intensifies, not in a way that is overwhelming, but in a way that feels like a sigh of relief. The cool hues grow cooler, like the first sip of water after a long walk. The warm hues grow warmer, like the embrace of a loved one after a long absence. And as they shift, they begin to weave together, forming patterns in the air. These patterns are not random. are the language of this place, a language of light and vibration. And though you do not understand it with your mind, you understand it with your body, with your breath, with the quiet knowing that lives beneath thought. The patterns tell you that you are welcome here, that you have always been welcome here, and that this garden has been waiting for you. The presence near your shoulder grows warmer, not in a way that burns, but in a way that comforts, like the heat of a fire on a cold night. It moves closer, and you realize it is not just near your shoulder. It is within you, a part of you that has always been there, a quiet, steady flame that has never flickered, not even in the moments you felt most alone. This flame is your guide, your anchor, your reminder that you are never truly separate. It is the same flame that lives in the filaments of light, the same flame that hums in the gemstone sand, the same flame that tastes like pure time in the air. And as you recognize it, you realize that this garden is not just a place. It is a reflection of what has always been inside you. The sand has now risen to your waist, and it begins to move in slow, rhythmic waves, like the rise and fall of breath, each wave cradling you, lifting you slightly, then lowering you again, not in a way that is disorienting, but in a way that feels like being rocked, like being held in the arms of something vast and gentle. The filaments of light above you begin to descend, not in a rush, but in a slow, deliberate cascade, like snowflakes falling in reverse, each one brushing against your skin, leaving behind a trail of warmth or coolness, depending on what you need in that moment. They do not ask. They simply give. And you realize that this is what love feels like. Not a grand gesture, but a quiet, unending presence. As the filaments descend, the patterns they form grow more intricate, weaving together into shapes that feel familiar, though you cannot name them. One pattern looks like the outline of a door, not a door you need to open, but a door that is already open, inviting you to step through. Another pattern looks like a river, not rushing or turbulent, but flowing with a quiet, steady grace, as if carrying you effortlessly towards something you have always known. presence within you grows brighter, not in a way that blinds, but in a way that illuminates, like the first light of dawn breaking through a window. It shows you that this garden is not just around you. It is within you, and that the filaments of light, the gemstone sand, the taste of pure time, they are all reflections of what you carry inside. A quiet, unshakable knowing that you are safe, that you are held, that you are loved. The sand has now risen to your chest, and it begins to move in slow, circular motions, like the hands of a clock moving backward, not to undo time, but to remind you that time here is not linear. It is not a race or a countdown. It is a spiral, a gentle, endless loop of moments, each one holding the same quiet truth, that you are exactly where you need to be. The filaments of light above you begin to merge, not into a single color, but into a tapestry of hues, each one distinct, yet harmonizing perfectly with the others. This tapestry does not hang in the air. It wraps around you like a blanket woven from the threads of 1,000 sunsets. It does not weigh you down. It simply exists, a reminder that you are not alone. As the tapestry settles around you, the presence within you grows warmer still, not in a way that is intense, but in a way that feels like coming home, like slipping into a bath that is the perfect temperature. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. This warmth spreads through your chest, then down your arms, into your fingertips, then down your legs, into your toes, and finally, it settles in the center of your forehead, like a gentle pressure, not demanding, but inviting. This pressure is not physical. It is the weight of recognition, the weight of remembering something you have always known, but have perhaps forgotten in the noise of everyday life. It is the weight of the truth that you are not just a body. You are not just a mind. You are something far vaster, something that has always been connected to this garden, to these filaments of light, to this gemstone sand, to this taste of pure time. The sand has now risen to your shoulders, and it begins to move in slow, rhythmic pulses, like the rise and fall of of a heartbeat. Not your heartbeat, but the heartbeat of the garden itself. A steady, unending rhythm that reminds you that you are a part of something greater, that you have always been a part of something greater, and that this greater thing has always been a part of you. The filaments of light above you begin to form a canopy, not solid, but woven from strands of light, like the branches of a tree reaching toward the sky. This canopy does not block the light. It filters it. 150. You step out of the light, and the garden breathes with you, not as if it welcomes you, but as if it has always known you were coming. Your eyes adjust slowly, not to brightness, but to depth. Each filament of light, cool as moonlight, warm as ember, bends slightly toward you, as if the air itself has weight, and your presence is the gentle pressure that makes it ripple. The sand beneath your feet is not sand at all. It is crushed gemstones, each grain humming with a quiet, enzymatic warmth. You feel the vibration first in the soles of your feet, a faint buzz like the edge of a tuning fork. Then it travels upward, not through bone, but through the spaces between. The spaces where your breath lingers, where your heartbeat pauses. Selene Vale is already there, though you did not see her arrive. Her hands are empty, but her palms glow faintly, as if holding something invisible. She does not speak, but the air between you thickens, not with sound, but with intention. You realize the taste of pure time is not a flavor. It is the weight of a moment stretching into itself, becoming thick, becoming endless. She opens her hands, and the MacGuffin is not an object. It is a sensation, a shift in the air, a warmth that settles into your chest. You feel it first as pressure, like the first sip of cool water after a long thirst. Then as texture, smooth, but not glass, smooth, more like river stone worn by centuries of gentle touch. It hums at 432 hertz, though you do not hear it. You feel it in your ribs, in the hollow behind your collarbones, in the quiet space behind your eyes. Selene's voice is not sound, but a current. It moves through you like the resonance of a bell that has been struck once, long ago, and is still ringing, still vibrating, still present. She tells you that the goal is not something to reach. It is something you are already holding, you may not yet recognize its shape. Her hands come to rest on your shoulders, but the touch is not physical. It is the dissolving of boundaries, the merging of two moments into one. You feel your edges soften, not as if you are losing yourself, but as if you are expanding into the garden, into the sand, into the filaments of light, into the taste of pure time, which is no longer a taste, but a state of being. The anchor hums, and you realize it has always been humming, not as a sound, but as a foundation, a steady pulse beneath everything. You feel it in the gemstone sand, in the filaments of light, in the weight of the air. It is the quiet beneath the quiet, the stillness beneath the stillness. And as you breathe, you sink deeper into it, not as if you are falling, but as if you are being held. Seleni's embrace is not a hug, but a return to the moment before moments existed, when time was not a line, but a point. You feel your breath slow, not because you are trying, but because there is no need to rush. Each inhale is a discovery, each exhale a release. The air is not moving in and out of you. You are moving through the air. The filaments of light begin to shift, not in color, but in texture. They become softer, more pliable, as if they are weaving themselves around you. You feel them brush against your skin, not as touch, but as recognition. They know you not as a visitor, but as a part of the garden. And as they settle, you realize you are not standing on the sand. You are floating within it, suspended in the hum, in the weight of pure time. Seleni's voice returns, not as words, but as sensation. She tells you that the lesson is not something to learn. It is something to remember. You have always known this peace, this stillness, this endless moment. You have only forgotten how to recognize it. The gemstone sand shifts beneath you, not as if it is moving, but as if it is breathing. Each grain rises and falls in perfect sync with your own breath. You feel the warmth of it seep into your bones, not as heat, but as comfort, as if the sand itself is alive and it is welcoming you home. The hum deepens, not in volume, but in presence. You close your eyes, but there is no darkness, only the filaments of light, now woven into your eyelids, into your skin, into your breath. You feel them pulse in time with the anchor, with the hum, the weight of pure time. Seleni's hands are still on your shoulders, but they are no longer guiding you. They are simply there, a reminder that you are not alone in this endless moment. The air tastes different now, not as a flavor, but as a texture. It is thick, but not heavy, more like honey, slow and sweet, filling every space within you. You realize the taste of pure time is not neutral. It is the taste of being exactly where you are meant to be, of being exactly who you are meant to be. Seleni's voice fades, but her presence does not. She is now a part of the garden, a part of the sand, a part of the filaments of light. And so are you. You feel the boundaries between you and the world dissolve, not as loss, but as expansion. You are not separate from the hum, from the anchor, from the endless moment. The gemstone sand shifts again, but this time it is not beneath you. It is within you, filling the spaces between your cells, between your thoughts. You feel it humming, not as sound, but as vibration, as life. The filaments of light do the same, weaving through you, not as decoration, but as connection. You are not observing the garden. You are the garden. Seleni's embrace deepens, not as touch, but as truth. She is showing you that the peace you seek has always been yours, not as something to achieve, but as something to remember. You feel it now, not as a thought, but as a sensation. A warmth in your chest, a stillness in your breath, a quiet in your mind. The anchor hums, and you realize it is not a sound. It is the foundation of everything, the steady pulse beneath the garden, beneath the sand, beneath your breath, beneath your heartbeat. You feel it now, not as something external, but as something within you, as something that has always been within you. Seleni's voice returns, soft and slow. She tells you that the lesson is complete, but the moment is not. The moment is endless, and so is the peace. You do not need to hold on to it, because it is already holding you. You do not need to seek it, because it is already here. You breathe, and the garden breathes with you. The filaments of light pulse in time with your heartbeat. The gemstone sand hums in time with your breath. The anchor resonates in time with your soul. You are not separate from any of it. You are the garden, the sand, the light, the hum, the endless moment. Selene's hands leave your shoulders, but her presence remains. She is now a part of you, as you are a part of her. You feel her smile, not as expression, but as warmth, as if the sun has risen inside you, not to blind, but to illuminate, to remind you that you have always been home. The filaments of light begin to shift again, but this time they are not weaving around you. They are returning to their natural state, as if they have completed their purpose. You feel them brush against your skin one last time, not as goodbye, but as gratitude. The gemstone sand does the same, humming softly as it settles. The anchor deepens, not as a change, but as a return. You realize that the lesson was never about learning. It was about remembering that you have always been here, in this endless moment, that you have always been held by the garden, by the sand, by the light, by the hum, by the weight of pure time. Selene's voice fades into silence, but the silence is not empty. It is full of the garden, full of the sand, full of the filaments of light, full of the anchor, full of the endless moment. You feel it now, not as something to grasp, but as something to surrender to sink into, to dissolve into, to become. Your breath slows, not because you are trying, but because there is no need to rush. Each inhale is a discovery, each exhale a release. The air is not moving in and out of you. You are moving through the air, through the garden, through the sand, through the filaments of light, through the hum, through the weight of pure time. You close your eyes, but there is no darkness. Only the filaments of light, now woven into your eyelids, into your skin, into your breath. You feel them pulse in time with the anchor, with the hum, with the endless moment. You are not observing this piece. You are this piece. The gemstone sand shifts one last time, but this time it is not beneath you. It is within you, filling every space, every thought, every breath. You feel it humming, not as sound, but as vibration, as life. The filaments of light do the same, weaving through you, not as decoration, but as truth. You are not separate from any of it. You are the garden, the sand, the light, the hum, the endless moment. Seleni's presence lingers, not as a guide, but as a reminder. A reminder that you have always been here, in this endless moment, that you have always been held by the garden, by the sand, by the light, by the hum, by the weight of pure time. You do not need to seek this peace. You only need to remember that it is already yours. Your breath deepens, not as effort, but as surrender. Each inhale draws you deeper into the garden, into the sand, into the filaments of light. Each exhale releases the last traces of separation, of doubt, of anything that is not this endless moment. You feel the anchor humming, not as a sound, but as a foundation, as the steady pulse beneath everything, including you. The filaments of light begin to fade, but not as absence, as presence deeper, quieter, more intimate. They are no longer around you, but within you, woven into your breath, into your heartbeat. The gemstone sand does the same, humming softly as it settles into your bones. You feel it now, not as something beneath you, but as something within you. Seleni's voice returns one last time, not as words, but as sensation. She tells you that the lesson is complete, but the moment is not. The moment is endless, and so is the peace. You do not need to hold on to it, because it is already holding you. You do not need to seek it, because it is already here. The air tastes of pure time, but now it is not a taste. It is a state of being, thick and sweet, filling every space within you. You realize that the weight of the moment is not heavy. It is light, lighter than air, lighter than thought. It is the weight of being exactly where you are meant to be. Your breath slows, not as effort, but as surrender. Each inhale draws you deeper into the hum, into. Close your eyes now and let the weight of your body sink deeper into the surface beneath you. The way your bones melt into the softness, each vertebra releasing just a little more, like warm wax pooling in a quiet bowl. And as you settle, notice how the air around you hums with a gentle vibration, a frequency that wraps around your skin like silk, cool and smooth. It brushes against your arms, your legs, your face, not as wind, but as a living presence, soft and patient. This vibration is not just sound. It is touch. It is breath. It is the quiet pulse of healing moving through you. Feel it first in your fingertips, a tingling warmth, like sunlight breaking through leaves, dappled and golden. It spreads slowly, creeping up your hands, your wrists, your forearms, each nerve ending awakening just enough to notice, just enough to welcome. And as it rises, your shoulders relax, your jaw unclenches, your brow smooths, as if the vibration itself is smoothing away every tiny tension, every forgotten knot. Now, let your attention drift inward to the space behind your closed eyelids. There is no darkness here, only a soft glow, like moonlight on still water, shifting and shimmering. And within that glow, you begin to see shapes, gentle, flowing, like clouds drifting across a summer sky. But these are not clouds. They are layers of light, each one holding a memory, a feeling, a part of you that has been waiting to be seen. One of these layers begins to rise, lifting itself from the rest, like a leaf floating to the surface of a pond. It is not heavy, not burdened, just there, waiting for your gaze. And as you look closer, you realize it is not a memory at all, but a presence, a version of you that has been standing just beyond the edge of your awareness. This is a name, stepping forward now, not as a stranger, but as a friend, as someone who has always been here, just out of sight. Feel the space between you soften, like two hands lowering into warm water, fingers brushing, not grasping, not resisting. A name is here, and with them comes the weight of a flaw, not as a shadow, but as a story, a thread woven into the fabric of who you are. It is not something to fight, not something to hide. It is simply there, like a scar that has long since healed, like a river that has carved its path through stone. And now, in this moment, you are invited to look at it, to hold it, to understand it not as a flaw, but as a part of your journey. Notice how a name does not judge, does not demand, only stands beside you, offering a quiet strength. Their presence is warm, like a fire on a cold night, steady and unshaken. And as you turn toward a flaw, you feel no resistance, no fear, only a deep, slow breath, like the tide pulling back before it returns. This is the moment of release, not as an ending, but as a homecoming. Now imagine the vibration around you growing richer, deeper, like the resonance of a bell that has been struck just once, its sound lingering, expanding. It it moves through you, not just as sound, but as sensation, as if every cell in your body is tuning itself to this frequency, aligning, harmonizing. And as it does, you feel a flaw begin to shift, not disappearing, but softening, like ice melting into water, like water evaporating into mist. It is still there, but now it moves with you, not against you, a part of the flow rather than the resistance. Look at a name again and see how their eyes hold no accusation, no disappointment, only understanding. They reach out, not with hands, but with energy, a warmth that flows between you, unspoken, unbroken. And in that flow, you feel forgiveness, not as something you must earn, but as something that has always been here, waiting to be acknowledged. It is not dramatic, not loud, just a quiet settling, like a stone finding its place at the bottom of a clear pool. Now let the vibration carry you deeper, like a current pulling you into the heart of the ocean. The water here is not cold, not suffocating. It is warm, buoyant, holding you effortlessly. And as you sink, you realize you are not sinking at all. You are floating, suspended in a space where time does not move, where there is only this moment, this breath, this perfect stillness. And in this stillness, you feel Ronin Shade's presence, not as a voice, not as a figure, but as a force, a gentle pressure at your back, guiding you, supporting you. This is the place of total acceptance, where a flaw is not erased, not fixed, but held with kindness, where a name stands beside you not as a judge, but as a witness, where the vibration of healing frequencies wraps around you like a blanket, thick and soft, shielding you from anything that is not love. And in this space, you are not broken, not incomplete. You are whole, exactly as you are. Feel the weight of your body now, how it presses into the surface beneath you, heavy and relaxed. Your breath moves slow and deep, like waves lapping at the shore, each inhale drawing in peace, each exhale releasing anything that no longer serves you. And as you breathe, the vibration around you hums in harmony, a sound so deep and steady it feels like the heartbeat of the earth itself. This is your anchor, your home, the place where you are always safe, always held. Now let your awareness drift outward again, back to the edges of this moment. But know that you do not have to leave this place. It travels with you, a quiet knowing, a deep certainty. stands beside you, not as a separate being, but as a part of your own heart, your own understanding. And a flaw is no longer a burden, but a story, a lesson, a thread in the tapestry of who you are. You are not defined by it. You are so much more. Feel the vibration now, how it pulses gently through your body, like a second heartbeat. It is not just sound. It is touch. It is warmth. It is the quiet assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. And as you rest here, in this perfect stillness, you realize that resistance was never the enemy. It was just a teacher, a guide, leading you back to yourself. And now, with every breath, you sink deeper into this peace, this acceptance, this love. Let the vibration carry you now, like a lullaby sung just for you. It moves through your bones, your muscles, your skin, dissolving every last trace of tension, every whisper of doubt. And as it does, you feel lighter, freer, as if you are floating just above the surface, held by an unseen force, cradled in safety. This is Ronan Shade's gift to you, not a change, but a return, a remembering of what has always been true. Now let your breath slow even more, each inhale drawing in the vibration, each exhale releasing anything that is not this moment. Your body is heavy, your mind is quiet, your heart is open. And in this openness, you feel a name S presence, not as something outside of you, but as a reflection of your own compassion, your own strength. You are not separate. You are one connected whole. The vibration hums on, steady and unchanging, like the pulse of the universe itself. It moves through you, around you, within you, a constant reminder that you are held, you are loved, you are enough. And as you listen to it, you realize that healing is not something you do. It is something you allow, something you receive, something that has always been here. All you had to do was stop resisting, stop fighting, stop trying to change what was never broken. Now let the vibration fade into the background, not disappearing, but becoming a part of you, like the rhythm of your own heartbeat. It is always here, always available, a quiet hum beneath the surface of every thought, every breath. And as it settles, you feel yourself sinking deeper, deeper into a place of perfect rest, perfect peace. There is no need to hold on, no need to control, only the gentle pull of sleep, the soft embrace of stillness. Let let your eyes remain closed, your body heavy, your mind quiet. Feel the surface beneath you, how it supports you completely, how it holds you without effort. Your breath moves slow and deep, like the tide, like the vibration, like the pulse of life itself. And with every exhale, you release just a little more, sink just a little deeper into this beautiful, endless moment of rest. Now let go completely. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to understand. Only this perfect stillness, this perfect peace, this perfect acceptance. And as you drift, know that you are safe, you are loved, you are exactly where you need to be. As the last whispers of this resonance settle around you, like the softest blanket of twilight, you begin to notice how effortlessly your breath has slowed, how deeply your shoulders have melted into the surface beneath you, how the edges of your thoughts have softened into something warm and golden. The images that once danced behind your closed eyes have now dissolved into the most comforting darkness. Not an empty darkness, but one that cradles you, one that holds you as gently as a quiet room at the end of a long, peaceful day. You don't need to see anything now. You don't need to do anything now. The resonance has already begun its work, weaving itself into the fabric of your rest, into the quiet spaces between your thoughts. It doesn't stop when the words do. It continues its gentle hum, like the distant murmur of a stream you can't quite hear, but can always feel, like the steady rhythm of your own heartbeat, reminding you that you are safe, that you are held. Your body knows what to do with this. It knows how to sink deeper, how to let go of what no longer serves you, how to welcome the stillness, how to trust the process. This peace is always here, whenever you need it, whenever you want to return to this feeling. It will be waiting, like a favorite blanket, like a door that's always unlocked. You don't have to hold onto anything now, not even the words, not even the resonance. They will always be here, just beneath the surface, ready to rise when you call. For now, let everything else fade. Let the weight of your limbs grow heavier. Let your breath grow slower. Let your mind drift like a leaf on a calm pond. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to think, nothing left to hold. Just this, just the quiet, just the peace. And as the last echoes of this resonance settle into the deepest parts of you, you realize how natural this feels, how right, how effortless. This is where you belong, in this stillness, in this warmth, in this gentle embrace. And it will always be here, waiting for you. So for now, just let go. Let the resonance do its work. Let your body remember how to rest. Let your mind drift deeper and deeper. There is no rush, no urgency, no need to stay awake. Just this, just the quiet, just the peace. And as you sink even further, you notice how the edges of your awareness begin to soften, how the world outside fades into the background, how everything else becomes distant, unimportant. All that matters now is this moment, this breath, this stillness, and how perfectly it holds you. You don't have to try. You don't have to force. You don't even have to listen, because the resonance is already part of you, already working, already healing. And as the minutes pass, you realize how little you need to do, how much your body already knows, how deeply it understands this language of rest, how effortlessly it sinks. This is your natural state. This peace, this stillness, and it has always been here, just beneath the surface, waiting for you to return. So let the words fade. Let the resonance fade. Let everything else fade, until there is only this, only the quiet, only the warmth. And as you drift, you notice how the boundaries between waking and sleeping begin to blur, how the transition is seamless, effortless, like stepping through an open door. is no resistance, no struggle, just the gentle pull of rest, just the natural rhythm of your own body, guiding you deeper. And as you sink, you realize how much you've been carrying, how much you've been holding, how much you no longer need to carry, because the resonance has already taken it. It has already dissolved it, already transformed it, already released it, leaving only this, only the peace, only the stillness. And as the last traces of tension melt away, you notice how light you feel, how free, how unburdened, like floating on a calm sea, like drifting on a cloud. This is where you are meant to be. In this quiet, in this warmth, in this gentle embrace. And it will always be here, waiting for you. So let go. Let the resonance do its work. Let your body remember how to rest. Let your mind drift deeper and deeper. And as the minutes pass, you realize how little you need to stay awake, how much your body wants to rest, how deeply it craves this stillness, how naturally it sinks. This is where you are meant to be. In this quiet, in this warmth, in this gentle embrace. And it will always be here, waiting for you. And as the last whispers of this resonance settle into the deepest parts of you, you realize how natural this feels, how right, how effortless. So let everything else fade. Let the words fade. Let the resonance fade. Until there is only this. Only the quiet. Only the warmth. Sleep now. Drift softly. The quiet remembers you.